Hello and welcome. I am back on some MX bikes. I know it's been a very long time since I've done a video like this, and I will explain why at the end of the video. But for now, let's talk about these new OEM bikes, because this is the whole reason I'm back. This is the Farm 14 by the Fat Muppet on the CRF 450. I did some online races last night, and it was on this bike, on this track, so that's why I figured I would just, continue on with that terrain since I'm a little comfortable. But I basically want to say these new bikes are amazing. I haven't looked at the pace, or I keep saying pace notes because I've been playing a lot of rally. I mean to say patch notes, so if I keep saying that, I'm sorry. But I haven't looked at the patch notes or anything like that specifically because I didn't want to see anything that would sway my opinion, or maybe I would focus on something and maybe miss something else. So this isn't a neat, a deep nitty-gritty deep dive type thing. I know there's some extra tire options and whatnot, but I'm not really going to that. I just want to talk about how I feel. This is stock setup. So right off the bat, the cornering is the first thing that comes to mind as far as these bikes feeling different. The front end is stable and the rear end feels way more lively, and I feel like it just feels so much better that way because that's how I would imagine it to feel. Like when you watch Tomac, even for example, he's tiptoeing around an inside corner. It looks like he's tiptoeing around an inside corner, you know what I mean? And there's a corner up here that I will kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about, if that makes sense. But you can still, come around the outside, and I didn't really rail it because you can't do that as much in this game, but you can still, hit the outsides fast and, carry a lot of momentum. But you do have to be very, very careful with your throttle input. So this corner I was talking about is coming up here after these two jumps. So coming up here, I would like to click into second and then just catch this little inside, and you have to be so careful on the throttle. If you watched my little input indicator thing on the bottom left, you could probably see that I was a quarter to maybe half throttle. I don't know, I wasn't looking, I was just focusing, but there's no way I could be half throttle or full throttle around that. Whereas before, on the old OEM bikes, you could always make that inside, no problem, didn't have to tiptoe as much. Whereas now, I struggle clearing that little double after the inside because of either me not giving enough throttle because I'm scared of breaking traction, or me giving too much throttle, breaking traction, and sliding off the face. You probably just saw my Ghost almost do there. So there's, a very fine line, which is really, really cool. The suspension feels really good as well. The front end being a little more stable, like I talked about. That's one of the things I noticed. It just doesn't feel as hoppy in the front end, which is really cool. Doesn't tuck, I've noticed. I could be wrong, but I don't think I've tucked the front end yet on these new OEMs. All my crashes have been from other mistakes, whether it be sliding out or something, throttle input related. But as far as odd bounces, I haven't really had that many close calls, and I'm pretty rusty, to be honest. This is really hard trying to talk and play this right now, especially for such a long break. But yeah, no, it just feels really, really good. Kind of got to focus through that roller section now because with the way these bikes are, they're not as fast, therefore you have to set up things a little better, I guess. You have to hit corners cleaner, and some of these jumps that I'm used to lifting off on, this finish line jump, I'm used to lifting off, but now I actually got to kind of power off the face. So yeah, just a lot of changes for sure. And that's why I'm riding the 450 specifically, is just to kind of show off the power, because on one hand they feel like they have more power because of the traction and the way they're like hooking up, because if you're on the middle of part of the tire, you hook up so well that it's easy to loop out. But on the sidewall, you know, you got to be real careful. You got to move your positioning, adjust the weight, you know, throttle control, all that. Like, for example, before I used to never like lean forward as much in corners, whereas I just did kind of there as an example. But now I feel like you kind of lean forward and like weight the front tire, and you don't have to worry about it like tucking. So I feel like the positioning of the rider helps way more now. And to be honest, like one stick players might kind of struggle now. But which I was for the longest time if you watch my old videos. But yeah, they might struggle. They might struggle quite a bit. But either way, like, I'm just a huge fan of these bikes. The way it just feels more realistic. I mean, the reason I play motocross simulators and, you know, BeamNG and all this other stuff is because of the realism. Like, I like replicating that, and this is how I'd imagine that to feel in, you know, real life. But speaking of like simulators and whatnot, I do want to get back into doing more on the channel. So if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. Yeah, I want to do some like sim racing stuff and, you know, various real life stuff as well. Like I put a RC skate park video recently, or somewhat recently, I don't know. But yeah, I want to do more real life stuff like that. I want to do a snowboarding video, but I forgot my GoPro when I went to Winter Park. I was very upset because it was such a fantastic day. But either way, that was, you know, last year. But thank you for checking out this video. Like I said before, one of the reasons why I took such a long break is because I joined a band, actually. I am a death metal vocalist. The two things I like are metal and motocross. So that has taken up quite a bit of time. The band name is Abstract Illusions. It's two vocalists, me being one of them. And we have been grinding super hard, playing shows. We've been in the studio several times within the past year. So yeah, a lot of my time has been going into that. But yeah, if you like death metal, deathcore, hardcore, tech death, any of that, definitely, you know, you want to check us out. We're on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. And then also, my mom passed away last year in a car accident, and that took quite a toll on me. Still trying to, you know, deal with that and whatnot. So those were kind of the big reasons why I haven't done much on YouTube, but I would like to get back into it. It is a good time. I appreciate all the support that I see from various people, and, you know, I do genuinely have fun trying to, you know, make videos, even though I may not have a lot of time. So either way, thank you for checking out this video. Let me know in the comments if there's stuff you would like to see, and until the next one.